I think In progress.
Okay, sorry for getting late. Now we have to continue the presentation from the previous day. Right. So today we are talking about essentials of a good guidance program. Right. So just tell me, why do you need guidance? Because from the very beginning, we talked about, so guidance is from cradle to grave. Right. Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Okay. So then we know that guidance is from cradle to grave. Then who can give guidance? Yes, who can give guidance?
Teacher, parents,
Friends.
friends, families.
Family members, siblings, brothers and sisters, okay, anybody. So then guidance, so there's a curriculum in guidance, right? So then if you want to learn about both guidance and counseling, that there are courses in universities. Even in NIE, that there's a course. There's a curriculum. So then that is the most important component of guidance program, because they teach according to a curriculum. But this curriculum links the school with the social and economic system of the community. The most important thing about this guidance curriculum is it has a link. Wait. Right? The most important thing about guidance is that the curriculum has a link with the society, the economic system of the community. So then, so when there's a link between society, economic system, and the school, the needs of the school, needs of the students, and the needs of the community can be identified. So through this guidance curriculum, when this guidance curriculum has a link with the school and the community, school with the community, so then it is helpful to identify the economic system of the community and needs of the students that who are living in the community. So thereby students can prepare their own plan. So if you consider about like this now, in a village, or if you consider about an area, they have different professions. Now, as an example, if I talk about this Payagala, Kalutara, that area, especially Payagala area, there people produce toddy. Ra nishpadane karna, toddy, vinegar, then jaggery, because that there are a lot of coconut trees, and they tap the coconut flower and produce toddy. So like that, there are so many job opportunities through that profession, right? That means that by tapping coconut, that they prepare toddy, and again they prepare vinegar, they can prepare jaggery, and there may be some other products. So then there are so many job opportunities. So like that, when the curriculum links to the school and the society, the economic system of the community, the needs of the students can be matched with the needs of the community. So thereby, the students can plan their future. Right. Then the curriculum is delivered by guidance counselor. Right. So then curriculum is taught by the guidance guide or the counselor with the support of the teachers in the classrooms or through specific school events. So then, especially that individuals, now they are there. Now we talked about that curriculum. It has some link with the society, the economic system of the community, and it caters the needs of the students. So the students can plan their future through it. So then this individual planning is the aim of helping them to know about themselves. That means their skills, their abilities, what are they good at, right? So therefore, this component is implemented at the middle and high level of schooling, and this component helps the students to devise career plans. So thereby, they can prepare their career plans and they can adjust to the school environment as well. Then there's a responsive system. What do you mean by responsive system? Responsive system means that it prevents a program that prevents students from making wrong choices, right? Because sometimes related to education, related to jobs, people take wrong choices, wrong decisions. So then these responsive services are there to avoid these people to or students to take wrong decisions. So these services include remedial measures to help students who have already made wrong choices. If they have taken wrong choices related to their jobs or related to their education, so there's a remedial measure. ප්‍රතිකර්ම ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවා ඒකට උදව් කරන්න. Next one, system support. The system support component includes staff development, community resource development, they give a lot of resources, policy development, they give budget, they give facilities for programs, that is called system support. Then, what are the characteristics of a good guidance program? Okay, you go through this and tell me. So all the information is here. So you go through this note and tell me what are the characteristics of a good guidance program. Now we talked about there's a curriculum. Curriculum has a link to the community and the school. So thereby it helps the economy, the needs of the children, right? So it helps the children to plan their future, the career. So then what are the characteristics of a good guidance program? So go through this note and tell me what is it. Can anybody tell? Yes, who can talk? Take the opportunity and talk. So we can have a good discussion. So people are doing guidance. But what are the characteristics of a good guidance program?
Madam, it is a continuous program.
Yeah, guidance should be a continuous program. And what else?
Choice and problem
Yeah, so the
considered
program,
on the guidance, madam.
okay. So first and foremost, when designing guidance programs, there should be clear outcomes. Outcomes means what are the results after giving guidance. So this outcome should be there from kindergarten to higher levels. This outcome should be there from kindergarten to higher level. So once guidance is given, what are the outcomes, right? So then they should create achievable and measurable outcomes. So these outcomes should be achievable. ඒව ළඟා කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ, measure කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් වැඩක් නැහැ. Right? So then these outcomes may be related to personal outcomes, social outcomes, educational outcomes, career outcomes. So they may vary, but they should be achievable. They should be measurable. මනින්න පුළුවන් වෙනුනේ, ළඟා කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So then the activities related to guidance must be appropriate to students' maturity. The activities that are done through guidance should cater to the maturity level of the students and they should be present systematically. So then it should give roles for all members of the school community. කියන්නේ හැමෝටම මොනවා play කරන role එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ ඒකේ. Right? Then it should include the establishment of an advisory group. There should be an advisory group for what? To give guidance for the people. So there can be guidance counselor, there can be educators, parents, students, support staff, and community representatives can be there in the advisory group. So then when delivering guidance, it should be done by a qualified guide or a counselor. The counselor or guide should be able to coordinate the program and deliver component of the program to people, those who need guidance, right? Okay, now that we were talking about guidance, now we are talking about counseling. What's the difference between guidance and counseling? Can anybody tell? What's the difference between guidance and counseling? We talked about them. If anybody can remember, tell now.
Counseling, ma'am.
Hmm.
Counseling can give only by the counselor only,
Hmm.
but the guidance can give by many people, by the parents, friends.
Yeah. When it comes to counselor, what are the criteria that we have to talk about the counselor? What kind of counselor can give the counseling?
He must be professionally trained.
Yeah, professionally trained, professionally qualified counselor. But everybody cannot give counseling. So then, counseling should be given by a professional counselor. So counseling service is an integral part of guidance. If you consider about counseling service, it's an integral part. එක අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කොටසක් guidance වල counseling කියන්නේ. So then, why do we need counseling service according to the note? Why people need counseling service? What's the purpose of the counseling
Educate
service?
personal
Educational, personal, vocational development of the student.
Educational, personal, vocational development of the students. ඒක තමයි counseling on. So then it should be given by a full-time counselor, especially in academic. It should be given by a full-time counselor. That counselor is giving counseling for academic problems, career problems, personal problems, or social problems. So then counselor helps the client to identify the problem and to solve his problems by him or herself. So they only facilitate, they don't give ready-made solutions, right? Right. Then, so these services, counseling services, help students resolve their social, emotional, mental issues, right? They can solve their personal problems, right? They can adjust to the educational institutions, they can adjust it to the job. So then counseling services help students to get clear focus and sense of direction in life. Through counseling, they get a better direction for his or her life. Right. Now tell me, why do we need counseling services? Why it is essential? Okay. Look at the note and tell me.
enable the student to understand their abilities and skills.
Yes, enable the students to understand their abilities and skills. Then they can learn about the choices they have and they can get the best option. A choices වලින් හොඳ දේවක තෝරගන්න පුළුවන්. Now then, what else? They can identify the problems, the difficulties, then they learn to handle them. They identify the difficulties and they identify the problems and they learn to handle the problems. Then counseling service strengthen
the abilities and skill of the
yeah, strengthen the abilities and so they facilitate the students to make decisions, correct decisions. So they facilitate the students to take. Can you hear me clearly? Hello,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you hear me
Yes,
clearly?
madam.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, these services help students to take correct decisions about their future plans. According to their abilities and skills, they can find good jobs. Right. Then, counseling can be given to the clients through two methods. What are they?
Group counseling, individual
Counseling.
counseling.
group counseling through group counseling sessions and individual counseling sessions. Okay. What is group counseling? What is called group counseling? Who conduct group counseling?
School counselors.
School counselors.
Counselors.
For whom they are giving counseling?
Small group.
Small groups. What's the special thing about this small group? මොකක්ද විශේෂත්වයෙන්ම small group එකේ?
They will address their family and academic issues.
Yeah. So the most important thing is this group, all of them have similar problems. That's why they are given group counseling. So people who have similar problems, same problems, get group counseling. So during group counseling, counselor enable them to talk to each other. Because first and foremost, they learn that others also have the same problem. So they don't need to be ashamed, shy. So when others also have the same problem, they try their best to find solutions. So if they cannot, so they talk with each other, then they learn about the problem, then they learn that it is not only for them, others also have the same problem, they're not ashamed of the problem. Then they try to find solutions for them, they talk about them. If one of the students applied, others also learn and apply. Okay, that's the thing. Then what is individual counseling?
They are talking about their personal issues.
How many people are there in individual counseling?
One people.
Two. Counselor and the
Counselor
The
and
client.
Counselor and the client type. Okay. What's the
one-to-one.
special? Yeah. So what is the special thing about individual counseling?
Students express themselves in a better manner,
Okay.
so they can solve the task.
Other thing.
The counselor give ideas and the client will find find the own solution for their problem.
Right. So then one special thing is that yes, it's good. And now this is, yeah, this is one-to-one counseling with the counselor and the client. So counselor only knows about the problems of the client. So then the counselor can fully involve with the client to the problem. Unlike a group counseling, now group counseling is for a group of students. So here the counselor attend to the client. In the individual counseling, it's for a specific problem and help him to understand and find solutions for his problem. Right. So here main aim is to help the students to adjust to their personal, social, and educational environment. What do you mean by vocational development? Look at the note and tell me. What is vocational development? It is related to what?
Career.
Career path.
Jobs, yeah, career. Okay, tell. What do you mean by vocational development? So they have to think, when they are thinking of a job, they have to make sure that they select the correct career, the career that gives them satisfaction. So then school guidance program helps the individual to know about their educational, personal, vocational choices. Thereby, they can select which vocational choices, which job he likes to do, what kind of education does he need, what kind of skills and abilities he or she needs to do the job. Right then. So here, school guidance programs are conducted in the school to adjust the students to their social and educational environment. Right. So then, the main aim of guidance and counseling is total personality development, right? So that the students can attain the development and make the right decisions with the assistance of the guide. That is vocational development. Now, requirements for a career. Okay, read the note. What are the requirements for a career? If you want to do a job, what are the requirements? What kind of things are considered when you are searching for a job?
The education, the
Education, qualifications,
experience,
experience. What else?
Skills.
Hmm?
Skills.
Skills, abilities. Whether his skills and abilities are matching with the job. If they are not matching, useless. Right? Okay. So then, when an individual is selecting a job, right? When an individual is selecting a job, the job should match with his skills and abilities, right? So when an individual is selecting a job, it should be matched with the abilities and skills of the individual, right? And if the people have necessary skills and abilities, they can easily select a job, right? Then again, tell me, what are the requirements for a career? So if somebody wants to do a job, so what are the requirements?
Abilities and skills.
Abilities and skills. What else? He should love the job. His interest should match with the job. If he doesn't like the job, he cannot be successful in the job, right? So then people will have to take correct choices, right? People have to improve their skills and abilities. They should go with these abilities and skills should match with the requirements of the job. And finally, person should get satisfaction by doing the job. That's the most important thing. Right. Personality type and interest. What do you mean by that? What do you understand by this personality type and interest? Yeah, what's it? So personal type and interest, there are some personalities and interests of the individual, right? So that also influence the selecting of job, right? So if the job doesn't match with the personality of the person, if the person is not interested in doing a job, right, then he is not matching with the job. Therefore, the personality of the person and his interests should match the job. Then, the individual must always choose a career which satisfies his interest. So, one person has to find a job that satisfies his interest. If he is not interested, as I told you earlier, he is not successful in the job. Right, next one. The individual's role as a worker is a part of his life role. So, individual can work as a, the individual's role as a worker is a part of his life role. So then when he's working, he's playing the worker's role, right? Then the way one perceives his role as a worker also influences the career decision, right? So another thing is the way he perceives his role. එයාගේ role එක ගැන එයාට දැනෙන විදිහ. වැඩ කරන කෙනෙක් විදිහට එයාගේ role එක දැනෙන විදිහ also influences the career decision. It can make an influence related to career decisions. Example, if one considers himself as a person who is fit for odd jobs, jobs, then one must choose a career of the same type. Job so that the required role can be fulfilled in an effective manner. Right? So then, if a person has some kind of interest towards a job, if he is good at or if he is skillful, so he must be given that job, because then only he will be satisfied. Now, if anybody is not interested in teaching, if you don't like children, if you don't like writing lesson plans, preparing visual aids, then those who do not have a loud voice, if you can't control the classroom, and if you hate teaching, you won't be able to good teach, because you're not satisfied by doing that. Okay, so then we have to, a person should fit to the jobs. A person fits to a job if he is interested in that job, if he loves that job, if he loves the environment, the career, the job role, then only he will be successful in the job. Then, previous experiences of a person in a particular field also influence his career choice. Now, as an example, if a student has been teaching in an international school, or if he or she has been teaching for students in tuition classes, so he may like to become a teacher. So when the government is giving appointments, he may like to apply and like to be a teacher, because that previous experiences influence him to select the career, right? So it has been observed that those who have had a good experience in a specific career, if they have some experiences in certain job, they like to continue the same job. They take the same option, they select the same option, right? Because they can perform well, then they can do a good job, a satisfactory job. Then culture also influences a person to select a job, right? So there are certain cultural barriers, so therefore those people cannot select certain jobs. So then the culture, ethnic background of the society influence when selecting a job, right? Then gender, right? So gender also has some kind of influences related to certain jobs. So then now, what's the idea of people, of girls becoming an engineer? What is your view? A girl is becoming an engineer. A girl is becoming a teacher, which is, according to the idea of the society, what is the most suitable job for a lady?
Teaching.
Teaching.
Teach. Why? Why do people say that the most suitable job for a woman is teaching? Why? Because you have to work from 7:30 to 1:30. So after that you are free. You have 3 months free vacations. So then whenever that you can look after your children and do your household work, and you can look after a job as well. So therefore, there are certain barriers and there are certain influences when one is selecting, especially the gender, according to the gender, when they are selecting jobs. Because if both men and women do the same job in the workplace, so their capacities are different, right? So when it comes to choosing the right career, if you want to select the best career or the suitable career, vocational guidance and counseling play a significant role. So then if you are unable to select some kind of job, if you are in a trouble of selecting the job, so vocational guidance and counseling, they can make them convince of the importance of the job and the requirements of the job, right? So then the objectives of vocational guidance are, it enables the individual to know the characteristics, functions, and duties, required skills and abilities of an occupation. So now if somebody wants to do a job, he or she should understand the characteristics of the job. What are the functions in the job? What are the duties? What are the skills one has to improve? What are the abilities in doing that, performing the job? Then it enables the individual to know how to conduct an analysis of the various career options. Now, if they have so many careers, you think of each one and select the best one that you are interested and that you are satisfied, right? Okay, career development. What do you mean by career development? Look at the note and tell me. Even the name itself indicates something. Just tell me, what is career development? Can anybody tell? You can go through the note and tell me. Yeah, what is career development? Okay, no one has an idea? What is career development? So career development means that you should adjust to the job and you should grow in the job. So if we consider about teaching, how can you develop your career? Yeah, how can you develop your career?
Through training.
Okay, through training.
By showing our abilities and skills.
Yeah, by showing your abilities and skills. What else? By doing your higher studies. So now if you become a teacher, you can go for degrees. Then after that, postgraduate diploma, masters. So then you can go for even MPhil, PhD. Right? So then career development, you can get professional training. That is very, very important. You have to get the professional training. So for a certain job, then only you can develop in the career, right? So then you learn about your responsibilities, what are the responsibilities you have to fulfill. So thus you will develop your career. So then career development has these things. What do you mean by self-development? Okay, tell me, look at the note and tell me what is self-development. How do you understand about self-development? Okay, what do you mean by self-development? That's the most important thing. Anitya hadanne yanna kanin. Tamang develop vela inne pe, what do you mean by self-development?
They have to understand their abilities.
Abilities, achievements, their potentials, what they can do, so they can make the right career choice. And what is career exploration? Do you explore the careers before selecting one? Do you explore? Okay, what do you mean by career exploration? So we find about the job. Now imagine you are going to apply for teaching. So then you are exploring about it. How, what are the benefits of doing teaching? Whether we can learn, we can become qualified. What are the other facilities? That means like leave, we can get loans. Then so like that, what are the facilities it has? So then after that only you after exploring about the career only you take the decision. Okay, next one, career management. So then career management is also essential for individual to make right choices, right? So then they can adjust their life according to the career or job. Okay. Okay, now we come to career development theories by Anne Rowe. Okay, you just go through the note and tell me what has Anne Rowe told about the theory. මොකක්ද ඒ theory ගැන කියලා තියෙන්නේ? Yes. Go through the note and tell me. Okay. What is Anne Rowe's personality development? So Anne Rowe says when selecting a job, there's a closer relationship. Yeah. What? With what? There's a close relationship with personality of the person and his career choice. That means sometimes there's an influence from the family also. Family influence can be there when selecting a job, right? So this one studied, and Rowe was studying about creativity and occupational psychology. So according to Anne Rowe, people work not only to earn money. What else he expect from the job? Not only earning money. What are the other things that a person expect from the job? Tell me. සල්ලි විතරක් හොයන්න නෙවෙයි job එකක් කරන්න. What are the other things?
Self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. So now all the needs, Maslow's needs, සියලුම needs ටික එයා fulfill කරනවා. Safety needs, need for love and belongingness, need for importance, need for respect, need for acceptance, self-esteem, right? So all these things, okay, right? So Rowe also stated that early relations in the family had an impact on the career. That means earlier relations had an influence of selecting a job. Family එකේ තියෙන බලපෑම තියෙනවලු job එකක් තෝරා ගැනීම. So if there are so many teachers in the family, they may like you also to become a teacher, right? Okay. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Hello, Saminder. නෑ නෑ එනවා අදාළ කෙනෙක් එනවා දැන්. ඔව් ඔව් ඔව්. ඔව් ඒක කරනවා ටිකටම ලෙක්චර් ඉන්නේ. මාර පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරා. හොඳයි කතා ලෙක්චර්. නම්නවා ඉවරනේ. Okay, thanks. Right. So then what did Anne Rose said? So then people are working not only for earning money. So what are the other things that he or she is expecting? So they have psychological need, right? Every මානසික අවශ්‍යතාවයක්. So we like to talk with people, we like to gather and have parties, to go out, we like to go on trips. Officially trips එකෙන් යන්නේ කට්ටිය එකතු වෙලා නේද? So not only that, they expect their safety needs. ආරක්ෂාව කියන එකත් ඒගොල්ලෝ job එකෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. So they expect love and belongingness. They expect their importance in the job. Yeah, වැදගත් කෙනෙක් ඒ රැකියාවට කියන එක. The respect, self-esteem, ආත්මාභිමානය, their independence. They need information. They need to understand, right? So all this is self-actualization. Self-actualization means achieving the goals. Everything is expected from a job. So she says, we are not merely doing a job for sake of earning money, but there are so many other things, right? Okay. Then Rowe also stated that early relations in the family, early relations can had an impact on the career choice of an individual. So they think, so sometimes their thinking is different than the modern people, right? So then they had an influence related to the jobs of people. Okay? Then in her theory, Rowe developed a list of 8 occupational groups. What are these 8 occupational groups? Services. There are services. There are jobs that provide services. Then there are business contacts, technology, outdoor, organization, science, general culture, arts, entertainment, right? So then Andrew listed out occupational groups like this. Right, then she associated 6 levels of responsibility, skills and capability that were essential for the occupation to be carried. So then sometimes there are certain changes now with what Andrew predicted, right? Okay. Okay, so what else Rowe theory of personality development said? So, career choice is very, very important, essential for the lives of individuals. Why? Why the career choice is essential for the life of an individual? What will happen if we take a wrong decision related to our jobs? Yes,
Your
tell.
satisfaction.
Yeah. Because if we are not satisfied about our job, right? So we are not fit to the job. We can't do it very well. So therefore, job satisfaction is very, very important. What are the other things we have to consider when selecting a job? What are the other things? Our skills, abilities, right? Whether they are matching with the job, right? Okay. Then there's another one called social learning theory of career choice and counseling. Okay. So earlier we learned about Andrew's personality theory. Now we are learning about social learning theory of career choice. Career choice again in the social learning theory. Right? So then it was developed by John Crumboltz. So he established career theory. He's a career theorist. So in his theory, what did he say? Tell me, you go through the note and tell me what did Crumboltz said about career. So he said there are two types of learning experiences in our life: instrumental learning experiences and associative learning experiences. Right. So on the basis of his theory, he listed the group of factors that affect the career choice. Career choice එකට බලපාන factors, yeah, group out කරා. Right. So what are they? Yeah, what are these factors?
Factors that influence preference within educational occupational preference.
Yes, Buddha, what did you say? What did John Krumboltz said? Okay, what are the factors that affect the career choice according to Krumboltz?
Factors that influence preference with an educational or occupational preference. And
Preference, right. So then there are educational and occupational preference. Oh, then sometimes they have educational preferences. They like certain educational things and they have occupational preferences. According to that, they select the job, right? So then factors influencing career decisions are, so they think of their skills, because there are certain skills required by the job, right? So then there are certain educational qualifications they required for the job, right? So then when according to Krumboltz, there are certain factors that affect or influence for career choice of a person, career decision of a person. Right. The next one is trait and factor theory. Who has introduced this trait and factor theory? We discussed earlier also. Who introduced this trait and factor theory?
Frank Parson.
Frank Parson. Who is Frank Parson?
American professor.
An American professor. He's a social reformer, public intellectual, he developed his theory. There he stated that when selecting a particular career, right? When a person is selecting a particular career, this involves understanding the characteristics of the occupation. What are the characteristics of the occupation? Or the job and matching the individual with the occupation. So as an example, if you can't talk aloud, if you're a soft spoken person, you can't teach. මුළු ක්ලාස් එකටම එන හයියෙන් කතා කරන්න එපා. හිමීට කතා කරන කෙනෙකුට teaching හරියන්නේ නැහැ. So you can control the class from your voice. Voice එකෙන් තමයි මුළු class එකම control කරන්නේ. So like that, when selecting a particular career, so there should be an understanding about the characteristics of the job, right? Whether that job matches with your qualities or skills or abilities. So the trait and factor theory is used as a foundation for career counseling, right? So, but there was some criticism in the trait and factor theory. It says that there are limited things only they have considered in the trait and factor theory. They don't consider about values, interest, skills, achievements, personality when selecting the job, right? Okay. Then, okay, what are the things that they, okay, so then why it is considered that this trait and factor theory is limited? Oh, so what are the things they don't consider?
Values,
What are the things
interest, skills.
they don't consider about the values, interests, skills, achievements, personality? So they are very, very important, right? So if a person is talking to only the first few rows, he or she is not suitable for teaching, right? Okay, that is trait and factor theory. Then next one is Holland's theory. So now what were the theories we discussed up to now? First one, what's the first theory? Rowe's theory of personality development. What did Rowe say?
There is the direct relation between the personality of the person and his career choice.
There's a yes, and also the family factors also influence the selection of a job. Right? Then we talked about
Social learning theory.
social learning theory by Krumbolz. What did he say?
There are two major types of learning experience that affect the individual choice of careers.
What are they?
Instrumental learning experience.
Instrumental learning experience and associative learning experience.
Okay. Right. Then right, okay. Then what are the specialty about trait and factor theory?
The process of selecting the particular career involves understanding the characteristic of the occupation or job and
Process of selecting.
individual with the occupation.
Right. So then when this theory states that the process of selecting a particular career involved understanding the characteristics of the occupation. So when selecting the job, they should have an understanding about the job. And this job, the requirements of the job should match with the individual. Otherwise, he is not successful in the job. Right. Then, so why it was limited? Why they say it was limited? What were the things that they had not considered?
Values, interest, skills, achievements, and
Personality.
over
Right.
the period of the time.
Okay, right. Now look at Holland's personality theory. First you go through them, then I'll explain. Go through the note, then it's easy for me to explain. Right. Who introduced this personality theory?
John L. Holland.
John L. Holland. Who is John L. Holland?
An American psychologist.
An American psychologist.
And
right?
professor.
Yeah, and he's a professor. Then what did Holland's theory state?
He states that every individual had one of the 6 basic personality traits and therefore exhibiting manifested behavior associated with that type of personality.
Right. So he says that according to Holland's theory, he states that there are 6 basic personality types. Right? There are 6 basic personality types. So every person has one of this personality type. Out of these 6 basic personality types, a person has one of the personality types. Right? So therefore, their behavior is associated with this type of personality. According to this personality, he behaves. Then he again defines 6 types of environments. Then first he explains 6 types of personalities. Then he explains 6 types of environments. So then he says that, so these environments also affect, influence for people when they are doing their job. So then he had some assumptions, like he says that people also can be categorized into one of the 6 types. What are these 6 types?
Realistic, artistic,
Realistic, artistic,
investigative,
investigative,
social,
social, enterprising, and conventional. And there are 6 types of environments. What are they?
realistic, conventional,
Realistic, conventional,
artistic,
social,
social, enterprising, and
and
investigative.
investigative. Right. Then imagine there is an artistic person who is very good at arts, drawing, painting. And what kind of environment does he like?
Nurture,
So there are 6 kind of 6 types of personality, and there are, yeah, so then artistic environment, right? So an artist likes artistic environment. So imagine now he is a singer, then he likes that kind of environment. He likes to sing and play music and all. Then people look for environments that enhance their skills. Now, even if we consider about teachers, so they like if they can have professional workshops. Then if they are given opportunities to do their higher studies, so they will like it. So people look for environment that enhance their skills, abilities, attitudes, and values. So this is very, very important. So therefore, they search for environment that help them to assume their roles. So then, behavior of the individual is determined by the interaction of the personality and the environment. So once behavior is decided by individuals, interactions by interaction of the personality and the environment. ඒ දෙක අතර තියෙන සම්බන්ධතාවය මත තමයි behavior ඇති වෙන්නේ. How good they are interacting with the environment. Right? So these are the 6 personal types and 6 environmental types: realistic, conventional, enterprising, social, artistic, and investigative. You see their characteristics. Okay, look at this. According to this diagram, whose characteristics are more closer? Realistic and social people, do they have close characteristics?
No, ma'am.
Then who are closer?
Enterprising and investigative.
Okay. So then if we enterprising and investigative?
No.
Now if we consider about realistic people, they can associate mostly which people?
conventional and enterprising.
Okay, conventional and enterprise. Okay, that's okay. Now the closest people, right? Then they have the characteristics. Then artistic people, whom do they like?
Investigative.
Social and investigate.
Social.
Okay, right. So they have closer relationships. Right. According to Holland, the definitions of the various responsibilities are like this. So then, realistic people, what are their characteristics? Okay, what are the characteristics of realistic people? Okay. What kind of people are the realistic people?
For activities.
They like to do activities like farmers. They like to do activities. යමක් කරන්න කැමති අය, right? So these activities may be related to the explicit order, systematic manipulation of objects, tools, machines, animals. So sometimes the farmers, they who look after animals, that who are working with machines, tools, objects. So they are related to the so these Holland said these realistic people, they are they prefer activities. Now, farmers, they like to grow, right? And there are certain farmers, they like to rear animals. These activities may be related to the explicit, ordered, or systematic manipulation of objects, tools, machines, and animals. Then, what are the other characteristics of realistic people?
They are defined as people who are averse to activities that involve educational, therapeutic
Therapeutic
methods.
method. So then they suggest activities that involve in educational and therapeutic methods. Okay. Then what are the characteristics of investigative people? Now we are talking about realistic people like farmers. Investigative people.
They perform the activities that are observational,
Yes.
symbolic, systematic, and creative in nature.
Right. Okay. Investigative people, they perform activities that are observational, symbolic, systematic, creative in nature. Right. So then these people observe physical, biological, and cultural phenomena so that they get power to control such phenomena after completely understanding the phenomena. Right. What are, as you think, what kind of jobs are they doing, investigative people?
Scientist.
Okay, scientists, right? So they learn persuasive, social, and repetitive activities. Right, scientists, investigative people. Okay, right. Artistic people. What are the characteristics of artistic people? Okay, what are the characteristics of artistic people? So they are dramatists, singers, painters, what else? Dancers,
Musician.
musicians. So they, okay, so these are the artistic people. Who are social people?
Teachers.
Good, very good. Teachers,
Counselor.
counselors, teachers,
Doctors.
counselors, doctors.
Doctors.
They are social people, right? Okay, right. Who are enterprising people? Okay, who are enterprising people? Tell me,
Businessman.
who are
Lawyers.
business people,
Businessmen.
lawyers, okay, businessmen. So they discuss with people and they compromise. Okay. Who are conventional people? We discussed. Okay. So then these people usually indulge in activities like keeping records. Who are these conventional people? They keep records. Tell me some conventional people who are keeping records.
Lawyers.
No, keeping records. Accountants, they keep records. Records they file materials.
Counselors.
Yes. Counselors, conventional
Bankers.
people, right? Okay. Bankers, accountants. Okay. So then we talked about conventional people. Who are conventional people? Just like people who are working in paddy fields, right? Conventional people. Then again, no. Conventional people are people who are keeping records, filing materials, reproducing materials, organizing written and numerical data according to the prescribed plan. Who are these people? Accountants. Talk about the conventional people. Tell.
Counselor, banker.
Okay, right. So they operate counselors in there. Egolo social people. They operate business machines and data processing machines. Then conventional people. Then after that, according to Holland's, okay, so according to Holland's, it is the most used theory of career choice and development in the modern society. Right. Next one, Super's theory of career development. Donald Super. What did he say? Okay. What does Super say about his career development? Okay, tell. So according to him, Super, this theory was developed by American psychologist Donald Super. So Super defined 14 propositions that define the role of abilities and interests. So these things consider self-concept, life stages, person's interactions with others. So these are the people. The theory says that people are different with respect to their abilities, because different people have different abilities. People have different personalities, people have different needs, different values, different interests, different characteristics, and different self-concept. Then abilities and skills of a person help decide the occupation suitable for him. So according to the abilities, skills, a person can select his or her job. Okay. So then every individual, therefore, there are several occupational opportunities, and in each occupation, a variety of people can be found. So they have so many opportunities. In these opportunities, they meet different people, right? Okay. So then, what are the important things we can tell about Super? Okay, right. Now, this is important. The fifth fact. So, this Super, he divided his theory into different parts. What are these different parts? අපේ ජීවිතේ එක එක අවස්ථාවල එයා වෙන් කරා. What are they?
Growth, exploration,
Yeah, growth,
establishment,
exploration,
maintenance,
establishment,
and decline.
maintenance, and decline. So he divided these people into people's growth, growth into these several steps. What are they? Growth, exploration, establishment,
Maintenance, and
maintenance, and decline. Right. So then growth means that, so he is starting to settle in his job. Then he explores more opportunities to settle in the job. Then he establishes. After that, he maintains that establishment, like then decline. So then after 65 years, he dies. Okay. This change cycle is often termed as maxi cycle. Small cycle of change called mini cycle, right? Okay, right. So how does the person's career pattern differ? A person's career pattern differs according to what? Yes?
Parental,
Hmm.
socioeconomic level, mental ability, education, skills, personality, and career maturity.
Okay, right. Then the individual's career pattern is often determined by parental sociometric level, how social the parents are, the mental ability of the student, the education of the student, the skills the student has, personality, and career maturity. Career ke kochchara ya establish වෙලා තියෙනවද කියන එක. Right. So then, how does the career pattern change? කොහොමද ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ career pattern එක?
When the individual gets exposure to career options which were not previously experienced by him.
Okay. A career pattern may change when the person exposed to the career, that means with the experience, right? So a person's idea about the job may change with his experience. Experience එකත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙනවා. Right? Okay. So the success of the individual in a career depend on what?
Readiness of the individual to cope up with the in demands and the changes need for the career.
Okay. So then a person's career pattern may change when he get exposed to the career options. Right? So then what are the factors that affect the success of an individual? Okay. What are the things that depending on the success of the individual? Okay, tell. What depends on the success of the individual?
Demands and the changing needs.
Yeah, demands and the changing needs of the career, right? The success of the individual in a career depends on the readiness of the individual. We are ready when only. So if we are ready only, that we are success. If we are not ready to teach, we are not successful. So we should be able to cope up with the demands and the changing needs of the career. There are certain demands in our job. There are changing needs of our job, right? So then we are successful when we are experienced in the career, when we become mature in our job. So rather than the novice teachers, the experienced teachers, they are successful in their job. So what does career maturity based on? Yeah, physical, psychological, social characteristics of the individual. So the maturity is gained by our physical characteristics, psychological characteristics, and social characteristics. So then career maturity requires the individual to deal with various stages of career development. So now, as we explained in this person, Super, what are the stages of his career? Tell me.
Growth.
What are the stages of Super's growth?
Growth, exploration, establishment, maintenance, and decline.
Right. These are the different stages of his theory. Right. Then what else we can tell about this? Okay. Another thing is the individual's self-concept. What do you mean by individual self-concept? What is self-concept? What is self-concept? The picture I have about myself. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? I have some kind of picture about myself. So then the individual self-concept and reality often interact with each other, right? So then, according to him, how does an individual learn? An individual learns from feedback. Yes, through the feedback that is given to him, right? So then, the individual's satisfaction at work and in life is depending on how well the individual can apply his abilities. Right? So now there are some people who know only the theory. They don't know how to apply them. So then people are successful over how the abilities of him, his values, his interests, his personality characteristics and self-concept in real life, and how far they can apply their knowledge. So finally, that we are expecting satisfaction in our work. That is the most important. If we are not satisfied, so that means that is not our correct choice, right? Okay. Super define 5 developmental tasks within the exploratory stage. What are they? What are these 5 developmental tasks? Occasional choice, that means selecting a job.
Increase the vocational information.
Yeah, what do you mean by increase vocational information? What are the courses available, right? What kind of institutes we have to follow the courses like that. Then third one, consistency of vocational choice.
Identification and price relation of trades relevant to career choice.
Identification and crystallization means, yeah. So identification and crystallization means we are established in the job. Okay. Now imagine, now you go as novice teachers. After that, what would you do? You do your higher studies, obtain degrees, masters, postgraduate, then you take training, and after that you establish in the job. You establish after gaining knowledge, right? Okay, right? Then what do you mean by career development stages? Yeah. What do you mean by career development stages? So there are different stages of career development. What are they?
Career development takes place in stages.
Yeah, career development takes place.
Assessment.
Yeah. How does a teacher's career days develop? Okay. Okay, right. Then career development, if we consider about career development of a teacher, so now we recruit novice teachers first. So after that, they do their higher studies, degrees, masters, postgraduate diplomas. Then they gather a lot of experiences and they establish in the job, right? And they obtain essential skills that they need. They develop their skills. So there are 6 stages in career or vocational development. What's the first one?
Assessment.
Assessment.
What do you mean by assessment? Okay. Career
Gain.
development is a special skill that individual must learn and develop. Okay. Okay. There are 6 stages in career or vocational development. First one is assessment. What do you mean by assessment? What we should assess?
Learn about strength, weakness, and abilities.
Yes. So one should learn about one's strengths, weaknesses, values with regard to the vocation. Right? So then counsel to understand and analyze the strengths and weaknesses of our job and to see whether we are suitable for that, whether our skills are suitable for that job. What do you mean by investigation? What do you
Explore
mean by
different career
investigation?
options.
Okay. So investigating various career options. So during this stage, the individual is confused and does not know which career to choose. මොන job එක තෝරගන්න කියලා හිතා ගන්න බෑ. Therefore, it is important that the individual does some research work about various jobs. And so you can measure which is more important than the other. And you can select the best job. Preparation. How do you prepare for a job? If you are a teacher, how can you prepare for a job? Okay. How can you prepare for a job?
Make lesson plans.
I'm making lesson plans.
Gaining knowledge
And
and
doing
experience.
higher studies, applying for job. Apa gaining knowledge, experiences, right? So you have to follow courses, follow training courses, getting training related to your job, right? What is commitment once you go to the job? What is commitment? You have to dedicate for your job. Once you get a job, now imagine you get teaching. Then එහෙම කියලා පන්තියට යන්න නැතුව නිකන් ඉඳගෙන ඉඳලා පොත් අස්සම් කරලා එහෙම හරියන්නේ. You have to commit to your job. Right? So then only you can get satisfaction. Right? Without committing to a job, you won't get satisfaction. Right? Okay. Retention. What do you mean by retention? You stay in the job, you settle in the job. How can you settle in the job? By performing well. How can you remain in the job? By performing well. Otherwise, now if you don't work, your principal will send you to another school. You have to retain means you have to stay, establish in the job by performing well, by achieving career goals. Next one, transition. What do you mean by transition?
Changing to another
What is
career.
that? What is that? Okay. So they experience now here
Changing
transition.
to another career.
Yeah, okay. So then in the transition stage, the individual may experience discomfort with his career. He may be unhappy about his job. Right? So sometimes because of that unhappiness, so dissatisfaction, he may change his job. That is called transition. Retention means he tries to stay in the job. Transition means if his skills don't match with the job, that he leaves the job. He changed the job. Right. Just go through this and tell me what is career burnout? What do you mean by career burnout? Yes, go through the note. What do you mean by career burnout?
Losing
That
interest
is
in career.
losing interest in a career and feeling of change in the career. ඒකට තියෙන ආසාව නැතිලා ඒක රස්සාව වෙනස් කරන්න ඕන කියලා හිතෙන. Psychologist Herbert and Gail North gave 12 phases of burnout. What are they? A person finds it mandatory, anivaraya, to prove himself. A person tries to work harder. A person may neglect his needs. A person often fails to understand the cause of distress and faces several internal conflicts. So when they can't understand the tension, the distress, so they have some conflicts. So a person undergoes a phase of value change. So now value change, sometimes value is changed when they are busy. So they need friends, they need hobbies. So you can't get away from them. So when you are doing a job, you have to have all these things. Okay. What are the other things? A person exhibits withdrawal or symptoms. A person may often show obvious behavioral changes. A person does not show any personal feelings. A person experiences inner emptiness. Right. So what do you mean by burnout? We told about what is burnout? Losing interest in a job and feeling that you need to change the job. Right. So what are the reasons for that? What are the reasons for burning out? You want to get away the job. Depression, lack of energy, lack of desire. So if the productivity is less in the company, so if you are not attending the work very often, you are bored, you are getting angry, you don't like the workplace, so then you are burnout. You are not interested in the job. What are the other things? When you have sleep disorders, right? When you have sleep disorders, sleep disorder. So then it is also maybe reason you don't like the job. Okay, so then individuals can take help from others, they can take help from organizations, they can conduct self-assessment. And so if you do all these things, you won't feel about career burnout. Right? So you have to help others, organize things. So then, is it essential to handle the career burnout? Is it essential to assess career burnout? අවශ්‍යයිද?
It is essential.
Yes, it is essential. And what can we do after identifying it? We have to handle it, manage it, right? Okay. What handling career burnout? What are the advantages? Okay. So then sleep disorders are also reason for career burnout, because if you are not sleep disorders also and influence career burnout, that you don't like the careers. Okay, what are the other reasons that career burnout means that you are not interested in doing the job? What are the others? Career burnout means you are not interested in doing the job. What are the others? The pressures you have from the organizations, right? So when your top management, when they scold you, when they pressurize you, right? So then these people can take help from the others, from the organizations. They can conduct self-assessment to see whether you are fit to the job, right? Thereby you can handle that, you can manage career burnout. So if you can handle career burnout, you can become productive person. Your productivity is high, otherwise it is less. So what are the other advantages of handling career burnout?
An individual can develop healthily in vocational environment.
So you, by handling burnout, handling career burnout, you can become successful in your job, right? So you have to lose your resentment. අකමැත්ත අයින් කරලා ඔයා ඒක successful වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right. Then what is importance of career development? You have to develop in your career. So you have to do your higher studies. You have to add professional qualifications. Why it is important? What are the reasons? When you do your higher studies,
To
and when you
achieve
do
the
your professional,
success in professional as well as the personal goals.
yes, you can achieve your personal goals and professional goals. And for overall development of the individual, it helps for overall development of the individual. What else? You can become successful in your profession, successful in your personal goals. What else? So you can
Able to
earn.
earn higher incomes.
Yes, Buddha, yes. You can earn
Able
high
to earn
income.
higher incomes.
Yes, so you can make, you can have more choices. You can cope with changes. You have less stress. You have more opportunities. You can become successful in your job, right? So that is, you have to do what in order to achieve all these things? You have to handle your career burnout, so that you have to lose your, you have to control the career burnout in order to achieve all these things, right? Any other problems that you encounter here in this lesson? Tell me the problems you have. Any place you don't understand?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any problems you want to discuss?
Madam, I recently joined to this program. Can I get the previous PPTs and recordings?
Yeah, I think it is in the LMS. I'll be sending that. There are 2-3 lessons to be sent, PPTs. I will send them. Then it is in the LMS. You better ask how that, if you have, I think you may need the password to go to the LMS. You can ask from the coordinator. How can you access to the LMS?
Okay, madam.
Right, so
From the beginning,
yeah.
they will give.
Yeah, all the lessons are there. So I will send the previous day lesson and today's lesson, because I'm discussing the previous day PPT, the same PPT. So I can send it today. I completed it. There are 58 slides. So previous day I talked half. Today I completed the rest. So we have one more day. We will complete. And so if they give the chance, we can discuss some of the questions.
Then
Right?
after
Is
that,
there
there
any?
will be one, madam.
After December, I think you have exams.
Okay.
We need to set the paper also. So is there
Online.
not online? I don't know about that. I think you have a written paper that you have to physically
Okay.
write the paper. I don't know whether they said online or you have to. So anything, so you can go through the notes and tell me that if anything is not, you don't understand anything, you can tell me next week, because next week means that 30th is the last day. We can discuss some of the things that you don't understand in the notes, right? I'll send this as well.
Thank you.
Okay, right. So then you can go through them and see whether you can understand or if there's anything you want to get clarified. Right? So can we conclude the lesson?
Okay, madam.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, madam. Good night,
Thank you,
madam.
ma'am. Good night.
Good night.